Welcome to the UCTV Spotlight Show. I'm Ayebe Lam Anthony, your host. And today we have guests from Zambia Youth Apostolate who are behind a film production titled Lady Poverty Part 2. Let them introduce themselves. You're welcome to the UCTV Spotlight Show.
Thank you.
Yes. Introduce yourselves.
By name Simon Peter Mukasa, formerly known as Shafiq.
I'm Kemugisha Maria Kaija.
I'm Catechist Edward Asasira Tiwakunda, and Zambia Parish, in charge of youths and children. Yes.
That's good. Kemugisha, what's the story behind Lady Poverty Part 2?
Yeah, well, Lady Poverty Part 2 is a continuation of our Part 1, and it's about the life story of Saint Francis of Assisi. You know, in the Catholic faith, we have lots of saints. So we decided to draw out this one saint, Saint Francis of Assisi, and we bring you his story. This is a guy who was from a very rich family, and his dad was a merchant in Assisi, Benadon. So his father had a lot of interest in this boy that one day in future will take up his businesses, his wealth. But we see Francis later on changing his mind, like embracing the poor, loving the poor, sharing all he had with the poor. Like he always felt at peace and comfort when he was close to the poor. And actually this brought up conflicts between his family and actually before him embracing or coming into this poor family, he had a girlfriend called Claire, and Claire was a daughter to a certain chancellor. So Francis converting into loving the poor, taking them, like embracing them, giving them the love, sharing whatever he had. This thing also, like since Claire was also close to Francis, it brought about that love, and so Claire also turned to Francis' side. So all that brought about conflicts into the entire country, even in the church, because we see even the Pope coming into these issues of Francis. Yeah.
That's an enlightening idea. Yes. Simon Peter,
Yes.
What's the inspiration behind Lady Poverty Part 2? What inspired you to write that great
That's a good
adaptation?
question. It's a good question.
Yes.
What inspired me, as I told you, I was formerly known as Shafiq. I was a Muslim. I've just converted like 2 years and a half to be a Catholic. So when I was converting to be a Catholic, one of my family members disappointed me. As you know, that disappointment which comes from a family when you have converted from being a Muslim to a Catholic. So one of my friend called Joseph, he took me to the grotto of Mother Mary, and that's where I realized, I saw certain saying, behold your mother. And I was really like, I've seen a mother who has loved me. So in that depression and stress, my friend Joseph saw me when I was stressed, and he was like, you can read even this book. And that book, it was for Saint Francis. I read the book. In the situation which I was in, I was really touched by Saint Francis's the way he does things, his simplicity. And even I saw that even he had some challenges with the family, and even I was facing the same challenges. So I was really inspired by him. I came up with an idea of writing a movie through him. So I went to my catechist, Edward Asasila, and I gave him the idea. We thank God that he welcomed the idea. So we took it to the parish level, where we connected with some of our friends at the parish level. So that's how we managed to come up with a movie.
Share with us, that's great. Share with us that idea. How did you come together, members of the Zambia Youth Apostolate? You reach out to various members of the sub-parishes to develop and shoot this movie, Lady Poverty Part 2? How was the process like, reaching out to various members to join hands?
Yeah, the process, it wasn't easy. That's what I can first say, because we would move, reaching one-on-one. Like Kenny Gisha, she was performing on the MDD for the parish. And I went there and I approached her and I told her, can you come and join? She welcomed. We went, as a youth apostolate, we always meet on Wednesday. I took there my idea and the meeting of the youth apostolate, and they bought the idea. Those who bought it, they came and registered. After registering, they started rehearsing. It was through God's will that they think it will happen, because people, they had never acted anywhere.
Never acted before. And acting for the first time. Yeah.
Even though for me it wasn't new. I was writing scripts, and even though I was not acting, but I was good at writing scripts. So we met them one-on-one. We gave them the idea. Those who liked it, they came up with it. So with that idea, we started rehearsing. We named the date for shooting. Yeah, and that's St. Francis now, which has hit the world.
Lady Poverty Part 2. Yes, Mr. Edward.
My brother.
Of all the titles, why did you decide to use Lady Poverty Part 2?
Yeah.
What's the secret behind that title? Lady Poverty. You have Lady Poverty Part 1, Lady Poverty Part. What's the idea?
Yeah, the secret there, that is so good. I give you an example of the child and the mother. When the mother is punishing the child, it's not easy to find the child crying, calling the father, father, or whenever the child gets a problem somewhere. So even the man himself, he can cry.
The child calls the
mother, mommy, oh man, like that.
And all
so
that.
Now, changing, when I was becoming a catechist, I came up with this theme of mine, that for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. So when you try to change, like my brother here, Simon, as he tried to convert from where he was to our home, the Catholic Church. So you leave everything. You live your life as we hear the gospel saying, if you want to follow me, take your cross, leave your family, leave your land, leave your properties, and you follow me. So now, leaving the mother at home, and you start now moving with and as our sister here has shared with us, that so now, in Assisi, yes, Francis had to leave the family, had to leave the parents, had to leave the everything, and to join these poor people, the lepers, the whatever. So now the lepers became his mother, became his sisters, his brothers, his money, his everything. So he tried now to. So now he started saying, Lady Poverty, like as you can say, Mother Poverty. My mother is poverty is now my mother.
My mother.
Are you getting me?
You can't choose father.
Yes, you love something. We have here political parties. Yes. Someone can love the party and put on the shoe, that color of the
yellow
party,
or red, whatever.
Or red or green. You find the cape is green, the t-shirt is green, the trouser is green, everything is green, because he or she likes that party. So now the love of Francis to the poor, that's why he said, even in his book, as he has said, when you are reading it, you find there, Lady Poverty. There is that word, that statement there. So now poverty became his mother all the time. But not poverty, but the poor people. He brought this love from the mother, from the sister, from what to the poor people. And now the title is Lady Poverty.
Lady Poverty.
Not Mother Poverty, but Lady Poverty. Are we together? So now we also entitled our movie that Lady Poverty. Now you have to come and see how Lady Poverty, what does it mean? Lady poverty. We normally hear
Lady-
ladies and gentlemen. Ladies now are we
It's
also
something
bringing
new, it's something new. You don't-
gentleman poverty.
You
But
don't
now we are
expect
bringing
such a
the
title.
mother.
You don't.
You are with me now. I think.
That's the idea around
Oh,
it.
okay.
So, what ideas, what lessons should people pick from that movie, Lady Poverty Part 2?
Yes, Lady Poverty Part 2. As I have said, serving the Lord, I may say it's a cross. You will have to leave something behind. Then you serve the Lord or you follow the Lord. Now, me too, and I'm the main actor as I talk.
Peter Francis.
Yeah, I'm the Francis now.
St. Francis of Assisi.
So now, me too, I've learned a lot of things. That feeling that thing, we have tried to bring it down from Assisi to Uganda here. Now, how our Uganda is now, how people are suffering there in slums, in where and where. Now you see, you imagine if I'm the one, or if I was there by that time, staying in that area,
Situation
and I
that.
find a rich young man coming, leaving the house of his father, and everything there, all the properties, the shops, the what, just trying to follow the Lord. And following the Lord, not that he needs other big properties, that I want to serve the Lord so that he can give me now this. Since my father doesn't have the aeroplane or the what, may I want to serve the Lord that God can give me. No, he left even the little he had and say,
He decided to just
he reached
join
like a
in
point
that.
of removing the clothes. Now, for us here, you find someone who has 1M, like earning 1 million every month, now trying or killing even somebody who is earning 500. He wants to take that 500 so that he can now start getting 1.5 per month. You find that one who is earning 100,000 per month, and you want to kill him or to do something that person can leave that 100, you also add it to your salary. You want the bigger, you always want to be ahead of others. So now, what we are learning, all the lessons that we are now learning, that after leaving everything, the money, all the properties, and you now come back to the Lord. I give you an example of the priests in the Catholic Church and nuns. These men, they are really handsome. They study. Becoming a priest, you have to study.
It's a long process.
It's a long process. And you give it time, 8 years in seminary. And after 8 years, again you become a priest. Now ours here has been taken to a certain patch there in Wakiso called Chiziba. Studying, as he wanted to become a priest, he didn't have in his mind that I will one day be transferred to Wakiso. But he can go there for 1 year and hear that he's now in another parish again. Or he can take him to Australia or in another country.
Yes, it happens. It happens.
It happens. So living. Now we bring this movie to this life. Now we can see, how can I change the world? Actually, we are using our talents to change the world or to proclaim the gospel, that all people can know, all people can see, all people can have a new mind or new thinking, that me too, I can serve the Lord. Leave your thing, that leave your wife, leave your she has talked about that Francis had the girlfriend. She was his friend. They were friends because they grew up together. Please, if you come and watch this movie, you will know more story, because they were even baptized in the same church by the same priest on the same day, Francis and Claire. So after being baptized, they grew up together. They were all son and daughter of the rich men in the area. You get, in that country, Assisi. So they became friends. But after they left everything and they start now serving the Lord. On that point, now I hope that people will see that everything is possible. From Assisi now to Uganda, we are now talking about St. Francis of Assisi. Will someone talk about Edward of Uganda? You get?
Can we get that version? An Edward of Uganda.
What can I do now that someone can say, hey, and now if they are to talk about me as a saint, I don't want them to use my Christian name Edward. They should use Asasira, Saint Asasira of Uganda. You get? But how? You have to leave something. But good chance now we have an example of Saint Francis of Assisi, so we can use him as our good example that I can leave everything, the books, the job, the whatever, and follow the Lord and serve Him. Children, parents, teenagers, they can.
Anyone can do that.
Yes.
It also takes me to this here. It's to be answered by Kemigisha. How should we relate the story of Saint Francis of Assisi to our contemporary times right now? How should we be related to that story?
Now, the world is now changing.
Yes, it's
And-
changing.
Yeah, and we are influenced by the social media, and whatever comes into the circular, like, it's not really good. So if at all we could always, like, put ourselves into knowing the lives of the saints, and also like draw lessons from them, try to practice it, because it's really, really hard to practice it. When you look at the life of Saint Francis, like someone being really, 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 really,
All
coming
in
from
for
a
the poor.
very,
Remember, you need to sacrifice.
you have to
That's
sacrifice.
the thing. Sacrificing. Imagine right now I have that money, and then you tell
Imagine
me to
coming
support
from the
needy,
state house, then again
and then
you have to come
leave
down
all
to the
that.
ghettos of Kamochi. I'm
you go
sorry.
to the ghettos.
Go
That's
to
the
the
challenge.
to the ghettos, befriend those people, give them a hand. Yeah? So like it's really hard because someone just having like a simple car.
It takes a great deal of will and courage.
Thank you. So if at all we draw lessons from Saint Francis, we try to like to give a hand to the needy. Like if someone comes at the office now, for instance, most of the offices in Uganda, someone will always have to ask either for your body or for money for you to have a place in an office. But if at all, we also have this heart of the people, like, let's take this woman who has come for a job, a needy one, or this boy from where they are coming from, a needy person.
Well, let's also look at what they offer, what they bring to the job.
Thank you. If at all there's something, at least toil so that you're helping this person. There's always something, better there's a reward. Now, St. Francis of Assisi is now still remembered. Because, like, his life, like, when I was growing up, I used to hear about the story of Francis of Assisi, that at certain moments he used to sing and animals could listen to his voices, to his songs. Actually, birds could also sing along with him. So I was like, wow, I wish one day I can be like him.
Right now, you're
Actually, I was
active
like,
in the movie.
I was like, when I grow up, I want to be like Francis of Assisi. But it's hard. It takes effort. So when this opportunity came, I was like, let me be part of this. And after being part of this, I have to live it after the sins. I have to be this person I've been, or this life that I've seen Francis, being like doing. Yeah.
Can you share with us some experiences you remember fondly when you were shooting the movie? What are those experiences you remember fondly? Because remember, it was shot on location at Sunday Catholic Parish, so
I remember the time when Claire came to meet Francis. Remember, these people were so close when they were growing up. That rich connection, for the planned kids, so that's So Francis was a planned child. Well, even Claire was planned.
Also planned.
But by the time Claire, time came and Francis disappeared. And then Claire was wondering, where is Francis? Where could he be? And when they came into contact, they found Francis a changed version. So when she came, like, I think to entice him, she found Francis being a different person. And then she fell for the new person that Francis was.
Someone who cared for the poor, who cared for the needy. That's...
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that scene, because she even had to give away her hair to be cut off to join the family of the poor, the poor family of Francis. Yeah.
Edward, do you have any special moments you can share with us? Yes. We're going to watch the movie this Sunday. Yeah, those special moments.
When you ask me about that, I remember the situation when he was sent. One day he wanted to meet the Pope, and I may say he was chased, not from meeting the Pope. And a priest told him, the Monsignor, told him that go and take care of the pigs. According to the statement, what Francis had made the Pope, how he wants to take care of the poor, to have the permission. He had gone for the permission.
His message was not well received there.
Yes, and the message was not received. Now the Monsignor said, go and take care of the pigs. And he went. That humbleness. And he started calling the pigs, oh, you are now my brothers. And he was very happy with them. Then I said, if I cannot find someone on the street, a human being, these brothers and sisters of ours from the other side, you know them. You find them there. Chikumi, as they say, 100. And I say, you just pull up the whatever on the car, just continue covering your face. If you don't want to hear any voice from them, and you continue with your journey. And this man went and started staying with the poor, the pigs, and he started calling them brothers and sisters. And the pigs were okay with him, and he was also okay with them.
Okay with them.
And some of us, even though we enjoy what comes from there, but we don't want to come closer to them when they are still alive. You want to find it when it's clean. Yes.
We don't want it when it's dirty and all that.
Looking at it when it is still alive, it is not easy. But for him, he went there and he started feeding them as if he's feeding his biological brothers and sisters. So now, when he was still there, that's when the Pope got the dream about Francis holding the church, that the church was falling down, and he wanted someone to interpret for him about that dream. So he now started, he was also shocked, and he started saying, oh, call me that young man, Francis. And he was still young, actually.
And it's also a key point right now, whereby the church needs to care for the needy in the society, or else they won't listen to the messages they spread.
Exactly.
It's a crucial highlight for us.
It is not easy sometimes. It is not easy. So that moment, really, it is so touching. How many people have vice chest? How many people have vice chest? Including maybe even my family members. Someone can call you, please, do you have like 100,000 to contribute to me on my daughter, on my son's school fees?
And then you find yourselves.
And sometimes we start complaining before we receive the calls.
You have to complain.
And this one now is calling me for what? I know him. And you reject the call. Or you try to pick. You hear, hey, where are you? Someone is here looking for you. Sorry, I'm coming. You start now pretending as if yet you are complaining. Before you hear the statement, this one now needs my help. You get. But this one left everything to serve the poor.
Serve the poor and the needy. It's an important highlight for us. Something that we need to pick on a daily basis.
Yes.
Actually, we have to draw ourselves closer to the poor, because whenever you give comfort to these people, there's a way they feel loved specially. I remember one day, there's some girl I met. She took herself to be really low, really down. So I had bought chips. And I was like, this thing is too much. I was like, give me some. I was like, wait, come on, eat. She was like, I want to wash my hands. I was like, no, come, let's share the fork. She was like, really? Me? Can you share a fork with me? I was like,
She
why?
did not expect
Yeah, I was
that.
like, why would I share a fork with
She
you? I
did
mean,
not.
you're a human being, I'm a human
You're a
being.
human
But
being.
you know me, I was like, come share.
And that stood out.
Yeah,
She had
she-
never received that treatment in her life.
Yeah,
before.
actually, she was like, Maria, you were a different person. She kept on telling me that thing, always remember, like reminding me of that thing. Yeah? So whenever we, even if it's something small,
Share the little you
share
have.
the little you have.
You have
At
to
least we
them.
should pray for that grace.
In addition to that, that goes to Francis' essence. Francis was coming from a merchant, big family of a big merchant who was getting goods from France and bringing them to Assisi. Even that's how the name of Francis comes to, because his father used to bring materials from France and Assisi. So he came up with an idea that my son will be called Francis, so that he could bring goods from France
To
and
Assisi.
to Assisi. So that is a boy who was planted to grow up in such a situation, and he chose to leave people like that. I can compare here in Uganda, people in Kololo, higher Kololo, and those in ghetto. So Francis moved from higher Kololo to go and join those people in ghetto,
In slums.
in slums.
And what?
He wanted to take that love from those people. He was showing a symbol that let us pick what we have in Kololo and take it to these people. He had a saying which was saying that we are not, no one is poor, but it's because the rich are surrounded with the gates of the of the slums. So Francis wanted even to bring up these people, and he really fought for it. That thing touched me a lot. Leaving all the riches to go and join those people in the slums.
It's a huge challenge these
Yeah.
days also. It's,
If we could here copy that thing and say that let us take what we have, what God has embraced us with, to those people in slums, no one will be poor.
there'll
No
be
one
a
will be poor.
change.
Yeah, there will be a bit.
There'll be a slight change.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And I know I'm about to conclude.
Mm.
We have this when I was in my formation as a catechist. I was trained from Chinda Mitiana. So we learned about the incarnation of Jesus Christ. If Jesus was to come with his greatness, kingship, to be born like as he is, the poor were not going to understand him. He had to first to calm down,
Be like them.
be like them, and now the rich people started looking for him. But if you, I'm sorry to use one of the big people in our country, whenever he comes, as you can see the president, if they say that president is coming in this area, the security must be there for like 2 weeks. You get? And when he comes, he finds everything is clean. Now he will never understand what is on the ground. You get? He will never understand what is on the ground. Because he has found all people are smart, everything is okay, the roads are clean, they want, and he will know that, hey, people are very okay in this area. Even if you complain how many times, it may not be easy for him to understand what you are crying for. But now Jesus came in, I may say indirectly, in another way. So to understand him that he is the one, for him he had already learnt them. All the proverbs, the sayings that we hear, he had already learned, he had already, so he knew them before they know him. Now he started talking about them, telling them everything. You're the hypocrites, you get. You're the tax collectors, you are like this and this. The man knows us very well, you get. So now St. Francis had to change the world or change the Assisi, their country. He had to first convert from the richness of his father now to become the poorer and change the poor also to understand God. And from there, the poor also came to know that God loves them. But before, they were like, for us, we are abandoned by our fellow people, and even God abandoned us. He doesn't know us. He doesn't love us. So they started now staying there. Actually, they were staying away from the from the you call it what? Away from other people.
The poor were separated
Mm.
From the rich.
From the rich.
And
Yes.
That
there was a huge barrier.
when you go to Assis, I got a chance and I went there. There is a hill for the rich, and downwards
The
there are
valley
the
is
poor.
for the poor.
So that's Francis said that let me take what is coming from up to take it down to the poor.
And this year brings us to the final question of our show. What should the TV audiences expect when they come this Sunday?
Our viewers, they should expect a mindset change. That this movie, it has come to build from the poor to, okay, we not say it's going to separate them. It's going to combine the poor and the rich. We are going to see how we can build up our country through the Saint Francis, how we did in Assis. That's why we brought him from Assis to come and act him here in Uganda.
So you want that Ugandan version.
That Ugandan
if he was
version.
living in Uganda, how would he be like? That's the idea around that.
So they should expect a mindset, and there is a lot of edutainment. Apart from the premiere, there's a lot of edutainment. People will watch, and by the time they will go there, they will feel like their mind is set. The poor people, and that's how we are going to build our church.
Yes.
Yeah.
What key events do you have lined up on that day, on the premiere day? Any planned events on Sunday, 10th September?
We have invited our brothers and sisters. It's called the Child and Hope Foundation. It's a troop. It's a Kaicho troop. It's coming from the slums. So we have invited them to come and celebrate with that, with Kaicho dances. And even we have got a skit of a girl child who is suffering from the stepmom. And even we'll be premiering our movie of St. Francis Part 2. But we'll start with Lady Poverty Part 2. But we start with Part 1, and again we premiere the Part 2. Yeah.
Yes, Kemigisha, what should the audiences expect this Sunday
It's
for
really
Lady Poverty Part 2?
fun. That's what I'm going to say, fun, and also lessons to especially the kids. That is for them. They still have a big chance to change. Maybe for us, we have somehow gone astray. But if at all these kids, because now the world has gone astray, we see what is trending on the social medias. But if they see this life of Lady Poverty, perhaps they could get, because we are doing more movies about the saints. So if at all,
We should expect more movies about saints.
about saints, yes, because we want these kids to grow in spirit. We want them to grow in spirit as they learn saints. Because if you're called Franz, if you're called Anthony, and then you get to know the story
Saint
about
Anthony of Padua.
so also try to be like Anthony. Actually, we would even have that energy, that strength of praying through Anthony. Then I said, Anthony, my patron saint, please help me do this. Help me be like this. Yeah.
That's great. And Edward, the final word is from you. What should the audiences expect this Sunday? What should we expect when we come to Marian Chapel?
How I wish if it can continue like every Sunday to be like 10th of September 2023, because most of the times we leave the church after mass, we run, and after running we reach at home, someone is calling me, come and I take you out, come and I take you out. So you find that you have even forgotten what you have learned from mass. You can even forget that today is Sunday, and you start now okay, as I have said, you forget that today is Sunday. You now join the world. Are we together? So now, this Sunday, what I wish, as I have said, people, I know that they will really grow up in their spirituality after seeing what they have seen, because whatever we are going to present there is really spiritual, helping both, not only children, because we are inviting both the children and the parents. Everyone is invited to watch and continue meditating about the saints, most especially Saint Francis. So when you watch carefully and you go back home, you meditate about what you have seen. First of all, you can admire the Saint Francis, his journey, and again even the people that have acted, that you have seen acting, either to join them or the parent to call them to join that they, if they can take your children. What I know, we shall receive many people to join us, to join our group, because we have done it very well. It is very smart. It is teaching. It is doing.
All right. Yes. Thank you very much for joining us on the UCTV Spotlight Show. Today we had guests from the Zambia Youth Apostolate. They are behind a film production titled Lady Poverty Part 2, inspired by the amazing life of St. Francis of Assisi. It's premiering this Sunday at Marian Chapel, Zambia Catholic Parish. Stay tuned on Uganda Catholic Television and do keep on watching great content from our station. Have a nice day.